Welcome into another episode of Training Table, and today's guest, we are joined by first baseman and outfielder Cole Wagner. Cole, what's up, bro?
What's up, man? Appreciate you having me on. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. We're gonna get a little bit of food, chop it up, and have a good time. You ready? You ready to grub?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, Cole, congrats on a great start to the season, man. I saw you guys had started out with a win over Missouri, right?
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, we opened up against Missouri down in Puerto Rico and got off to a really hot start. So
A little SEC win.
yeah, I think they said it was the first time in like close to 50 years that Penn State's beat a SEC team. So that was pretty cool to get that one out of the way.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. What was that? So, like, playing down in Puerto Rico, as far as like when you guys take trips for baseball, what is that like? Or do you have like time to like go out and explore like Puerto Rico a little bit, or are you like mainly like at the hotel and practicing?
We got lucky because we got to Puerto Rico on a Wednesday. So we played Friday, Saturday, Sunday, got there Wednesday. So we had a little bit of time on that Wednesday and Thursday to sort of hang out and explore the city a little bit. And then we played Saturday morning. So we had like the rest of the day Saturday to sort of go downtown and check it out. We went to Old San Juan and got to walk around and eat a little bit. So it was a good time. But each trip's a little bit different. Like this past weekend, we were down in Virginia playing Longwood, and that was like a super quick trip. So we didn't have a ton of time, to hang out. It was pretty much all business, get down there, take care of it, and head back. But each trip's a little bit different. So
How many games normally?
3 games on a weekend usually.
Okay. Okay.
Sometimes we'll play 4. Sometimes you'll do Friday, doubleheader on Saturday, and then play Sunday. But this weekend, because of weather, we actually only played 3. We played 2 on Saturday and then 1 on Sunday. But yeah, it's usually like Friday, Saturday, Sunday series.
Interesting. Okay. How many games is an whole season for you guys?
The regular season is typically 56 on the schedule. It sort of shakes out to be a little bit different, just with weather and cancellations and stuff like that. But usually it's right around 56 games, so it's a long season.
A special thank you to Bobby Rayall Honda of State College for sponsoring this video. Make sure you guys go check out their showroom on West College Ave.
And it's once you sort of get in the routine of it, it's not too bad. It feels like the spring semester always flies by, because it's like you play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Mondays are off day, so we don't really have anything. Get treatment, whatever we need. We'll practice Tuesday, Wednesday. If we're home, we'll practice Thursday. If we're on the road, we'll travel and then get a quick practice in. So like during the week, it just flies by, and then once the weekend rolls around, you just do it all over again.
Yeah, that's got to be a lot. I can't imagine playing that many games. You
Yeah.
guys, make sure you show Cole some love in the comment section. He's spending the off day with us, coming to get a little bit of food, so we appreciate it, man. I'm excited about this one. And I gotta say, Cole, I texted you this, but like researching you for this interview, it was your story is honestly amazing. And before anything in sports, I thought the most interesting thing was that you were the valedictorian of your high school class.
I was, yeah. I'm a little bit of a nerd, so that's kind of, people don't realize that about me, especially this year too, because I'm a grad guy. So like my course load's super light. But when I was at Georgia, going through my undergrad stuff, I was always hitting the books and studying really hard. But yeah, I've always taken academics really seriously. I realized that my athletic career was pretty short-lived, so I wanted to make sure that whatever I did after baseball was over, that I'd put myself in a good spot to do something I enjoy and take care of my family. So yeah, I've always taken academics really seriously.
Was that like something was that a goal you always had to be the valedictorian, like going into high school, or did it kind of just like happen?
I think it was one of those things where I didn't even realize. So I went to a private school up through 8th grade, and then I transferred to Redland High School, which was the local public school, for my freshman year. And like going into it, I had really no aspirations. I had no idea how I would stack up. I knew, that academics were important to me, but I sort of went through my freshman year and I did pretty well. And by the end of it, my guidance counselor, who was our assistant baseball coach, was like, "Hey, you're top of the class." And so at that point, like once he told me that I was in first, I was like, all right, well now I got to keep it going. So I was like, it wasn't something I really cared about, but I was like, all right, if we're keeping score, I might as well win. So I kind of buckled down after that, and fortunately I was able to finish as a valedictorian. But it was never something that I was like had to do it or put a ton of pressure on myself for it. It was just something, I valued school. I enjoyed it. I still love learning new things. So it never felt like something I had to do. It was just, you know, something that kind of happened.
No, that's awesome. That is
Yeah.
really neat. No, I was never that big into academics. I tried to do well, but I saw that I was like valedictorian.
Hey, C's
I was
get
like,
degrees, man.
dang
Just get
right,
it
dang
done.
right they
Yeah,
do,
exactly.
dang right they do.
Yeah.
Shout out Honda for that backup. They got a nice backup camera in here. So
Yeah, that was a cool feature
yeah, I was
right
about to
there.
say, yeah.
I saw that.
If you
Yeah.
need a Honda Pilot, go on to Bobby Brown Honda State College. All right, we are down here on South Gardner Street, downtown State College, trying out the new K2 Roots. Cole, have you tried out K2 Roots before?
I haven't had it. We get it at the field, catered a lot. I haven't been to this location in person, so I'm excited to check it out.
All right, we're going to try it out. We're going to see what they got to eat and give it a little bit of review. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Is there anything that you really like here?
We have paninis, toasts, and then
A buffalo chicken panini.
I'm gonna do the fixed smoothie, and then the Southwest bowl sounds good.
You took Redland, your hometown, to the Little League World Series.
I did, yeah.
Back in 2015.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Because I remember I would always see Little League World Series on TV in the summertime.
Yeah.
Like, how does that even come about? How do you qualify for that?
You grow up watching the Little League World Series and getting to see all these kids your age like play on this awesome, perfectly manicured field and wear the cool uniforms and get all the gear and that kind of stuff. So like every kid who plays baseball dreams of going to Williamsport and playing in the Little League World Series. But the way it works, you've got your normal regular season for your Little League play in your district tournament. So you're playing teams, you know, within a 10, 15-mile radius. The winner of districts then goes to sectional, so that sort of branches out a little bit bigger. Again, once you win that, now you go to states. So I think there's like 8 teams throughout the state that qualify for the state tournament.
Okay.
8 teams play from each section, and then the winner of that qualifies for regionals. Regionals was in Bristol, Connecticut.
Okay.
So you're playing all the state winners. So all those teams, they're competing to represent the Mid-Atlantic region in Williamsport. So we beat New Jersey in the regional final to then move on to play in the Little League World Series.
Okay. Yeah, you had to win a lot of games.
So you played a ton of games, yeah. So it was a ton of fun. I mean, it was honestly like one of the best summers of my life, getting to, because you live in Connecticut and in Williamsport. So you're in like the barracks with those guys. So you're,
seriously?
Yeah, there's like 15 bunk beds spread out together. So you're living with your best friends. You're coming up with all sorts of stupid pranks.
Those are the best
it
times.
was literally one of the best memories of my life. Like when I think back to baseball, that's what I'll remember forever.
You started playing baseball.
Man, I was probably 3 years old when I started. Yeah, it's always been such a big thing in my family. My dad and uncle both played professionally. It was just always something that we did. It was a huge part of our family. We talked baseball. We lived it.
So you've obviously had a lot of success in your career going back. We're talking Little League World Series, and then you also took your team, Redland, in high school to the state championship.
Yep.
What is it like walking around in town? You're the valedictorian. You're taking the Little League to the World Series, winning the state championship. Do most people around town, like, they know you, they see you, like it's like there's Cole, or?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely. It all started with the Little League stuff. I think that the support that we got from our community then was unbelievable. We broke the attendance record at our U.S. Championship game. We had 46,000 people show up to watch a bunch of 12-year-olds hit a baseball. So that was pretty fun.
So came in at Georgia, started basically as a true freshman in the SEC.
Yep.
What was that like kind of the expectation for you going in, or what was kind of like going into where you were like, I don't really know how this is going to pan out?
I really didn't know what to expect. So when I got there in 2021, and obviously like COVID was right before that. So that had a huge impact because they missed the season before. So we were a really old team. Like we had a ton of guys who got a 5th year or got a COVID year because of that. So going in, I had no idea what my role was going to be. I was just looking to become the best player I could be, get stronger, get bigger, get faster, all those things, and just whatever my role was going to be freshman year, I was going to be good with it. And then I had a pretty good fall, good preseason, and we had sort of one spot open, corner outfield, kind of DH spot. And so I got some at-bats early in the year and played pretty well. Got time throughout the season, split time with some other guys, but at the end of the year had a fun year and a successful year to build upon. So yeah, it was definitely a good start to my career at Georgia.
Yeah, no, that's really cool, man. And then fast forward, so summer of 2023, you retired from baseball.
Yeah.
What was kind of like the inspiration? What made you want to step away from baseball and take a step back?
I think to get into that, I have to backpedal a little bit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So like I had that good freshman year that was, had some ups and downs, but it was definitely something that I felt like I could build upon. Like I had enough success, definitely some failure to sort of learn from, and then I went to Charlottesville, Virginia that summer and played in the Valley League, and had an unbelievable summer. Like it was literally the best baseball I'd ever played in my life. I was an all-star there. I was like player of the year in the Valley League. So I had a lot of expectations going into my sophomore year that I was, going to be this guy who played in the middle of the lineup and really helped our team. And so, I had a lot of expectations and had a good fall and felt like I was in a good spot going into the season. And then just got off to a tough start. Like I felt like I'd struggle a little bit more. And, the scouting reports were out, so pitchers were pitching me tougher. Just didn't have the start to the year that I wanted to. And then, from there, I really just couldn't get my feet set under me. I finished the year. I wasn't hitting where I wanted to. I struggled a little bit and was just kind of frustrated. I felt like mentally, I'd put so much work and so much effort in, and I didn't handle failure probably the best I could have. And so, at the end of that year, I was frustrated, but sort of ready to get back to work and have a good junior year. And then that summer, our head coach got fired. The entire staff turnover. So new coach who came in, he was just looking to rebuild the program and get it to the best spot that he felt like it could be. And, we both sort of mutually agreed that I probably wasn't the best fit for that team. At the time, too, like I mentioned, I was kind of burnt out, like just mentally. I was sort of done and felt like I'd poured so much of myself into it. And my identity was like literally who I was as a baseball player. And so, I had a year where I struggled. And I'd put so much time and so much effort and so much of myself into that I didn't know how to find my self-worth and my value separate from my performance on the baseball field. And so I got to this point where I was just done, and I felt like I needed to step away. And at the time, I had a year left until I graduated from UGA, so I wasn't ready to leave. I loved it down in Athens. It was an awesome school, awesome experience. Football was a ton of fun, so I'm still a little bit of a Georgia Bulldogs fan. I jumped on the bandwagon hard there. But yeah, so I loved it. I decided to finish out my junior year in Athens. So I graduated from UGA in 3.
Okay.
And then I was at the point where after taking that time, I was like, I don't think it's a game of baseball that I need to get away from. I think it's just a new experience that I need. And so, I took that time and walked away and felt like, all right, I think I'm ready to give it a go again and get back into it. And that's how I ended up here.
Dude, it's awesome to kind of have that perspective that a lot of people don't get to have, where you didn't have baseball for a little while. But like, what was that like right away when you didn't have to go to practice and you didn't have to wake up and go to workouts and you didn't have to eat XYZ? Like, was there a little bit of a lost feeling for you?
It definitely sort of goes through stages. So like, when I first stopped, I think I was relieved because I had such a tough year, and I felt like it was something I had to do, not something I wanted to do or got to do. So I think at first it was sort of just like a weight lifted off my shoulders. And so then you got all this extra free time that you don't know what to do with. So like, that was kind of fun. I spent a lot of time with my fiance and with my family and with our dog. I was picking up new hobbies. I was playing a ton of pickleball. I was, like all sorts of stuff like that, where it's like I've got all this free time that I've never had before. So that was fun to fill it. And then, you get back to real life. So that was in, I think, July that I decided to walk away. Went back to school in August, and it was just different. Like all my friends were guys on the team. So I get back down there, and they're at practice for 6 hours a day, and it's, I'm just hanging out doing schoolwork, and it was definitely a challenge at first adjusting to that. Made a lot of new friends down there, so that was good. But I sort of went through that semester, and just a lot of thoughts were running through my mind. Like I didn't know if I made the right decision. I didn't know if what I was doing was what I was supposed to be doing, and so I sort of got to that point, like in the winter again, where I was like, I don't think it was the game of baseball that I needed to get away from, but maybe just like a change of environment. So I think it was definitely sort of stages of like relief, and then had a ton of fun with the free time, and then I was like, I kind of missed that grind.
Yeah, no, it is hard. That's exactly what I went through. Like your friends, and they're all busy, and it's like, dang, I got nothing else to do, and I'm just sitting here in my dorm while they're all out practicing. And you kind of just feel like, dang, like I should be doing something with my time. But like you said, that's where you get to find like. Did you like? Would you say? I mean, it's kind of like cliche to say you like found yourself, but did you find like other things? Like you said, you found pickleball. Like, with like you those things, you still enjoy doing them now, right? That you
100%.
found?
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing that made me feel secure to come playing again was I found myself outside of baseball. I think that when I didn't have it, I was able to look around and see all that I had and all that I've been blessed with. You know, I had my fiance was a super huge support system for me. My family, my friends. You know, like I said, like academics were super important for me. So I had a potential career that I could go into, and I had all these things around me that I felt like supported me for who I was. That I could look at life without baseball and say, you know what, like I'm really happy with this. I'm so blessed in so many other ways that I don't need baseball. That now that I'm secure in who I am and now that I have that confidence in myself, that hey, this is something I can add back in, not because I need to, not because it's central to my identity, but because I want to.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. That's such a cool story. Well, I appreciate you getting kind of deep there, but I think
Yeah,
our
for
food
sure.
is ready to
Yeah,
munch
let's do it.
it.
Let's eat.
Do it.
For sure. Look at that.
This is solid, and this is like thick. Like there's a lot of food in here. No, I'm excited about this.
Yeah, I got a lot going on right here. I don't even know what I'm about to eat.
A lot of
but
sauce
it looks
on
good.
that one.
Yeah, I'll take
Okay.
it though.
And then we got I think we said at the beginning, but I got some type of shout out to Haley Bieber for the shake. I don't really know exactly what it is, but it looks good. Looks like there's whipped cream in there or something. It got me excited. I don't know.
I think this is called the Fix, some type of chocolate, peanut butter, banana kind of concoction. So looks
All
pretty
right,
solid.
awesome. I'm
Yeah,
excited about
let's do
this.
it.
So let's get into it. Shoot. I'm gonna start coming here more. This is actually pretty.
Yeah, this looks legit.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, this is solid. I'm a big sauce guy, so I like whatever the like ranch kind of thing they got going on there is really good.
I probably put ranch on too many things, if you want me to be honest. That was definitely something that I went through. Is like still finding ways to challenge yourself in real life.
Yeah.
Because it is. It's such a different. Like you're used to going every day into like an incredibly like masculine environment and competing.
Yep.
And that being gone was I think one of the hardest parts. Is like where do I put that energy now? Like where do I put that drive, that passion? Because I don't have like just some outlet to go to every single day
Right.
to do that. So you have to like find somewhere.
Yeah.
Clearly, you found that a little bit in pickleball.
I did.
We have to get out and play some pickleball.
Oh, for sure. I haven't played in a while. I played a
Right,
ton
yeah.
over the summer, and I played when I was done with baseball. But yeah, I mean, I was hitting the gym pretty hard. I sort of poured into that, but I was like, yeah, I need something like physical to just get me gas because I'm so used to hitting the pillow at the end of the night and just passing out. That it's like I can't sit on the couch for 8 hours a day and I feel like I'm doing something.
I know it's just like a surplus of energy for sure. So when you left Georgia, were you like dead set? You're like, I'm gonna go to Penn State, or what was like that process and getting to know Coach Gambino and all that?
Yeah, so I was, like I said, July, I walked away, and then literally from July until like November, I was like totally done with baseball. Didn't even entertain it at all. I was moving on with my life. I was interviewing for jobs. I was getting ready to graduate. Didn't even, consider how baseball would play into my life. And then I woke up one morning in November, and I just couldn't stop thinking about like, why did I stop playing? Like I wasn't regretting my decision, but like I was like, all right, I need to answer the question of like what really caused me to walk away. And ultimately I got to the point that I realized like it wasn't that I didn't love the game, it just wasn't the best environment for me, and I realized that my perspective on baseball caused me to hate it. And I was like, you're in control of that perspective. Like, no one else can influence that. Sure, you might not have been in a situation where the coaches were the most supportive, or where you got the player development you needed. But at the end of the day, like, only you can control the way that you react to those things. And I didn't want to live the rest of my life feeling like I left that on the table. Like, I knew it wasn't that I wasn't a good enough player. I knew that I had a lot of room to get better as a player, and like when I was playing at my best, I was really, really talented and really good. I just needed to mentally get to a spot where I could be the best as consistently as possible. And so that's when I entered the transfer portal. I realized, I'm ready to do this again. I got lucky, so I hit the portal in December. So not a lot of baseball players get in over the winter. just because, your season starts in February. So you get there in the fall, you practice through the fall, and the season starts in the spring. So most guys enter in the summer after the season's over. For me, I got in the winter, so there were a ton of opportunities. I was also going to be a grad guy, which made it a lot easier because I didn't have to find a school that had the major I was looking for. I could do a graduate certificate or an MBA program or something like that. So yeah, as soon as I entered, Penn State was at the top of my list. I heard really good things about Coach Gambino and his staff and like the direction that the program was heading. It was obviously a lot closer to home than Georgia, which was going to be important for me. As I was engaged, like I didn't want to be far from Paige, didn't want to be far from my family. So like that was really important to come back home and also feeling like the program was now finally heading in the right direction. Like I wanted to be a part of something here and help build that and help turn Penn State into a baseball school. So I felt like everything sort of aligned and it was definitely the place that I wanted to be.
Yeah, because I remember when I first got here, like we definitely weren't on baseball. We were not where we needed to be. Because like, did they recruit you at all? Like the first time around?
Not much at all, really.
Okay.
And honestly, that was a common theme with a lot of the best players in the state. I think that they knew that they weren't a baseball school, and so they didn't even really try with the elite players. They knew that those guys were going to go out of state to, Georgia or UNC or LSU or Virginia or like those guys were gonna head down south. They were gonna play in the SEC or ACC, and so they didn't even bother. And it's funny, like we kind of make fun of ourselves now as Bounce Back U because we've got so many guys who are in state who went to a big school and ended back up here. We've got like Paxton was at LSU, Joe Jakonski, he was at UNC, his brother Jesse was at UNC, Skip Shanoski, he was at Wake Forest, I was at Georgia. Like we've got all these guys that went to these huge baseball powerhouses, didn't work out for them and then came back home. So, you kind of laugh at how things would have been if you would have gone here out of high school. But honestly, I think all of us are like so grateful for the path, and we wouldn't have the perspective that we have now if we didn't go through that. Like we just have such a appreciation for the culture and the way Coach Gambino goes about things that I think that we needed to go through those struggles and that change of scenery to really appreciate it.
You're absolutely right. No, and when you're talking about perspective, this is the one main thing I did want to ask you was like, would you say like going to the facility every single day, you have a different perspective of like, or a different appreciation just to play baseball because you didn't have it? Like, what is that? What's your mindset versus like when you went in every day at Georgia versus now here at Penn State?
I am intentionally immensely grateful every day I show up to the field. I think that before baseball was something that I had to do. It wasn't something that I wanted to do or that I got the opportunity to do. Like I was Cole Wagner, the baseball player. Like you don't have any other choice but to show up to the field. Like that's what you do.
Yep.
That's who you are. And it goes back to the identity piece. I'm Cole Wagner. I'm a guy who's super blessed to get the opportunity to go out there and play baseball with my friends. And so like my favorite thing in the world is just stepping out on that field. And things that I hated before, like going through our dynamic warm up, like something that this is a waste of time. It's like, dude, how lucky are you to be out here with the sun shining on you, getting to run around with your buddies? Like this is so much fun. This is so awesome.
It's so true. Like it's all about how you frame it mentally.
Absolutely.
And like you just said, instead of I have to do it, I get to do it.
Yeah.
It is, dude. That's
No
so
doubt.
amazing. Well, look, I appreciate you guys. Listen, we just had like an inspirational training table. That was awesome. That's what Behind the Wall is, though. So hey, keep tuning in. That was I loved it, man. That was really awesome.
I appreciate you giving me a chance to come on and share my story a little bit. I know there's a lot of people out there, and it doesn't have to just be sports, but like going through difficult changes and life challenges and just trusting that journey. It might feel hard right now, and it's not going to be easy, but the perspective that you gain that's all part of it. So enjoy it.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. I got to give a shout out to the Haley Bieber shake or whatever smoothie. This is actually amazing. I'm going to come back here and get this, no doubt. So, no, shout out K2 Roots for sure.
Yeah, awesome food.
All right, we appreciate you guys tuning in to episode 3 of Training Table. And honestly, Cole, I think we're going to have you on sometime. Like, maybe not just Training Table, we're going to definitely have you on again.
I'd love to, man. Yeah.
Maybe after the season when you got a little more downtime. So expect that. Listen, I think we're going to have like Cole teach me a little bit of baseball because I don't know much. We might have to get into that at some point.
We got to have you out to the field. We'll do a little run through of some stuff, take BP, and we'll get you sorted out for sure, man.
Heck yeah, I love it. Awesome. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Cole, appreciate you.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys tuning in to Training Table. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Peace.